Yeah.
Okay, if you can go back to slide number 7. Yes, thank you. So the advantages of road transport, right? It's very flexible mode of transportation for loading and unloading. Also it's basically provides, like I said earlier, it provides, door to door services, and also helps people to travel and carry goods from one place to another. So that's also a very good advantage of the road transportation. Next page. So this is something the truck will look like, the tractor, just a tractor. I mean, you'll be seeing this a lot on the road. So on the right side, the picture basically it's called a tractor, not the so the truck basically. So our fleet, this is a 2013. This is one of our trucks, and so this is 2013 Freightliner. Freightliner is one of the popular trucks to buy. I have Freightliners and Volvos, but I would never buy a Volvo again. Volvo has a lot of basically mechanical issues and stuff like that. So, I recommend buying a Freightliner, and that's what I built. Buy, with all my trucks. So the trucks right here is basically it's a conventional sleeper. So the backside, so we have a 73 feet, a 73 inch, sorry, 73 inch sleeper, which basically a driver, if they're going over the road, it takes if it takes about 2 days to travel, they can sleep on they can just go to the truck stop and sleep on the backside of it. So that's why that way you don't have to basically spend money in the hotel and stuff like that. So that's the reason why the truck with the sleeper is really needed for that. And when we buy the trucks, we usually buy the trucks. Our mileage is from anywhere from 430 to about 600,000 miles. And so I'll give you an example. One of my truck we bought about 6 months ago. We bought that for about 45 grand, and there was about 525,000 miles on it. We drove about 100,000 miles in about 6 months so far, and no issues at all. We only have spent I would say about $400 roughly for all the maintenance and stuff. Because a lot of people is going to be asking in the future, in the going forward, that hey, how much is the presentation? And so I'm going to cover that anyways. But I'm just saying that hey, maintenance is it's the biggest priority, and we take care of that maintenance as well. So this trucks are good for OTRs. Uh, Kishore, can you put the next slide, please? Okay, so then we have the trailers, right? I have the pictures on the next page, but so we have two types of trailers. We have the dry vans, which is the box trailer, and we also have a reefer. Reefer is basically similar to dry van, but what a reefer has a like a fridge from outside where basically it stores. So when we have a cold produce, right, like a meat or anything that goes coast to coast, this is what we use reefer for that. So dry van is one of the most common type of freight transportation in the U.S. It's basically enclosed box trailers, like I said earlier, and that's pretty much it. Doesn't have a temperature, which box trailer has it. So the dry van pictures. This is what the dry van looks like. It's a box trailer, 53 feet, air equipped trailer. And the second picture is the that was. Can you go back one more slide, Kishore? So the second picture on the right side is basically how the inside trailer looks like. Wooden floor, and this is what they basically all the shippers, all the receivers, they look at it. If there's any mess, if there's anything going on the trailer or something, they'll reject your freight. So it's really popular. It's really necessary to basically look for a nice trailer, a tractor, a trailer, basically, in order to move freights. So the next page is our picture for reefer. So like I say, on the left side, the same picture, right, looks exactly the same as the reefer. That's the back part of it, which has the swing doors. On the front part, where the is connected to the tractor. This is where the you will see the basically the what you call the fridge, right? The freight. It's like the AC unit. I would say the AC unit which controls the temperature. So if you're basically moving, like a meat, right? Meat. The temperature, the shipper say, hey, you got to keep the temperature for about 25 or not 25, but 4 degrees Celsius, right? Or Fahrenheit or whatever. So that's what the driver has to make sure that, we keep that temperature on that board. So that's what the Reaper is. Next page. So our main investment snapshots, right? So in order to invest in this trucking industry, our minimum investment is one truck, which range anywhere from $40,000 to $60,000, depends on the month and year. And we have connections with a lot of basically local dealership right here in Houston and also in Texas as well, where we can get a good deal on the trucks, because we always buying more trucks, and so we can get a better deal. Our company also provides so we provide a turnkey services. So our company will also provide get you a tag. So once you buy a trailer, same thing like when you buy a trailer, you get the title. But here you get the title, but you also need to get the tags. So our company basically takes care of the tags as well. We also apply for IFTA stickers. I'll go in the next slide later on what the IFTA sticker is. But we take up the IFTA stickers where you can start hauling from coast to coast. So when you're looking at the investment, the total investment we need to look for is $45,000 to $65,000. It all depends on the truck, right? So basically, one truck range from $45,000 to $65,000 if you want to go a little bit 2014 or 2015. There are times when we got a truck which was about $50,000. We had a really good miles on it, and it was 2014. So we got a really nice truck on that one. So on the trailer wise, I did a mistake. I bought a trailer, and I don't regret it. I mean, it's an asset for me. But as an investment perspective, what I would say is I would basically if you want to invest, I'd rather rent the trailer or lease the trailer instead of buying it. So that way you can save money a lot. So basically, the rate of return, when Kishore sent out a message, I told him, hey, the investment basically, it's a passive income, right? Let's say you're putting $50,000 on a $50,000 investment. On the first year, you're getting about 25% return. So this is minimum 25% return. I mean, there are times when the loads are good. Right now, March is when the freight's gonna be really, really good. That's when the market starts picking up, and it's gonna go all the way to July, August, and September is gonna slow down a little bit, and it's gonna pick up back in October. So 25% is the minimum return you're gonna get. There are times when you're getting about 30%, 35%. We keep 25% minimum, just basically, so that way if there's any, up and down, 25% minimum, that's what you're going to get in return. So each investor will get about a payment via direct deposit or check by mail every quarter. So every quarter you're going to get a check by mail. And every month you're going to get each investor basically going to get a report of a financials and how they're doing on their businesses. So basically, each month I'll send an email out to each individual investor saying that, hey, this is how much you're making this month. This is how many loads you did. This is how much you did, and so forth. So that's the investment snapshot we did. Sure, next page, please. So service provided to our investors, right? Like I said earlier, we provide the turnkey services to our investors, such as, so we have in-house dispatch services. A dispatcher is basically that person that looks for your load. So we have a truck that's in Houston. So what we do is basically our dispatcher is going to be saying, okay, we have a load that's coming off. This is for the OTR. Dedicated freights, basically, we already know we have a freight from east to west, west to east, east to west, west to east. So we don't have to look anywhere else. But what our dispatch basically does for the OTR is they go to the load board, they talk to the brokers, they call Amazon and say, hey, we have 10 trucks right now in Houston. Do you have any loads for us going here? It's like, hey, yeah, we have freight from Houston going to Oklahoma. This is what the payment is. This is how much the rate is going to be. Boom. So we basically book that load. So this is what our dispatch services does. Then we do our accounting, billing, day-to-day operations. Basically, the whole turnkey process. So you don't have to worry about the investors. Basically, doesn't have to worry about it because you're a silent partner, right? Basically, you invest, you put money in, and you don't want to get bothered by. And this is where we come in as an operations and a management company, where we take care of the whole thing as a turnkey process. We will help you find a trailer and truck. If you let's say, Kishore is interested. Kishore's like, hey, Purav, I want to buy, a truck. Let's go this weekend or something. All right, let's go. So we will go to our dealership and say, hey, what's our budget? This and that. This is our $50,000 is our budget. Then they will show the truck and so forth. So we'll go. Our company, what we do is we basically help find a trailer and tractor for at a very reasonable price. And the main important thing, right? The driver. Driver is the main asset for this company. We use a third party recruiter, which is basically one of the best recruiter company in the United States. This guy is basically doing this for a long time, and whenever I need a driver, next day I get a driver. So that's what we need, right? We don't want our trucks. Let's have a driver leave or something. We need someone to basically go as soon as possible, and this is where the recruiter comes in. We also, when we get a driver, basically we negotiate the driver, pay with the driver. Hey, this is how much you're going to get in. This is how much you're going to pay. Depends on the experience, right? If they have 10 years of experience, they have a different rates versus someone who has 4 years of experience and have a different rate as well. So, like I said earlier, we also apply for your IFTA sticker. And also handle your IFTA taxes. So IFTA taxes is very, very, very important in this trucking business. So every quarter, let's say your truck ran about 60,000 miles, right? And it went to 20 different states. And so what we do is we run a report. It basically tells us, okay, this many miles that you ran, these are the states that you went, and they have a certain rates. So we have to file a tax every quarter. If you don't file a tax, we get a penalty. So this is all we take care of it. Our company does it as a management. We basically take care of the whole IFTA process, the filing of all the transfer fees and basically everything. So basically, that's about it for the services. Next page, Kishore. So this is what an IFTA looks like. So what is IFTA, right? So IFTA is basically an international fuel tax agreement between the lower 48 states of the U.S. and Canadian provinces to simply reporting of fuel. So this is what when we have to report the fuel, this is what the IFTA sticker is. And every year we get this kind of stickers. So this is my sticker back in 2018, and they have a different color. So this is the red color. We have for 19, we have a blue color. And here in Houston, so let's say when you buy the truck, you buy the truck, we got the title, we got the license plate and everything, right? Then we need to apply for IFTA sticker. IFTA sticker basically takes about 21 business days to get in. And then, so meanwhile, what we do is we run in Texas only because we have authorized to run in Texas. And if you run in Texas only, we don't need an IFTA sticker. So what we can do is we can run in Texas for about 21 days until we find, we get our sticker, we put that into the truck, and then boom, we're good to go all 48 states. Next page. So, everyone probably have questions or concerns like, hey, it's a trucking business. No one has know about trucking business. When I got into trucking business, basically, I did a lot of research. I have friends and family who are in trucking business, and it's a very, very lucrative business, right? It's not too many Indians have tapped this market. And when you get into this business, you get so much in love that like, hey man, this is such a nice business, has such a great return. So people usually ask like, hey, what is the risk, right? What is the risk to invest in this business? So what I did was, so basically trucking business is like I said, trucking business is a very lucrative business. But, as a risk, I would say there's not a major risk investment in this business. Besides drivers, right? Driver is one of the key factor, and also taking care of maintenance, right? But I would not consider as a major risk. This is like a small hurdle that we always get, but we always tackle that, right? So because what I would say is, let's say maintenance, right? A lot of people would ask, hey, how do you guys buy the truck? So when we buy the truck, the first thing we do is, in order to basically avoid this risk, we go to the dealership, right? We ask for the dyno test. What dyno test is done is basically runs the whole background of this truck. When the maintenance was done, when the engine was run, and all this oil filters and everything was done. So we get the dyno test done. We also get the maintenance report done as well. So we know when was the last oil change done. And if the oil change has not been done, we make sure that they get everything done so that we don't have to spend for the whole next full 6-7 months, So that's what we come in, and we make sure that everything is taken care of before we buy the truck. So what is the cost of maintenance per year? Roughly about $600 to $1,000 for PMs, oil change, filter change, etc. Like I said earlier, when I bought my truck, that truck was basically this is 2013, right? I bought it about 6 months ago, and we drove about 100,000 miles, and out of 100,000 miles, we only spent about $300-400 so far. So roughly about $600,000, I would say. You spend, and there are times when we have to get new tires and stuff. So that's a small expense as well. So one of my investors earlier last year said, "Hey, I want to invest in 5 trucks." When I presented this, he was very excited. He was like, "Hey, I want to invest in 5 trucks. Can I do that?" So I was like, "Yeah, you can." But what I would really recommend is start with the one truck, right? I mean, I will tell you guys as well. If you guys are interested, start with the one truck. Start with one truck, get to know the market. I will help you out basically, and get your feet wet. The money is great. It's 25% return, right? Can't beat that. But you don't want to start with 5 trucks. I would say start with one truck, and next year if you see a great return, buy more trucks. And this is what exactly the other guy did. Basically 6 months ago when he invested about one truck. Right now he called me, 2 weeks before that, he called me and said, "Hey, Purav, I want to invest more money, more trucks with you." I was like, "Yeah, great. Sounds good to me." So, last question, the kind of question I wrote down was, does 25% return year includes all the expenses, which was mentioned above? So yes, all the 25% return, when I said, that includes all the expenses, right? Basically includes all the maintenance, repair, any oil change or anything. That's basically it's the same, right? So that's what is covered. Let me answer a few questions we have right here. So RKK asks, like, "Hey, how about insurance for the truck? Who pays for it and how much? What are the consequences of the transportation goods to who is responsible?" So insurance, basically the owner of the truck, right? So you as an owner will be paying for the insurance. And what we do is, so basically, let's say we have every week we have a settlement, right? So basically what we do is, we basically take money out from that settlements. Right, so this is how the insurance has been taken care of. What's the life of truck to make the money? I mean, the average miles per year. The truck. So, like I said, the truck can easily go up to 1.3, 1.4 million miles, right? So, let's say you buy a truck which is $50,000, and the truck, the miles is about 500,000 miles. you can easily go up to 1.3, 1.4 million miles. We need to make sure that maintenance it's on the par. We got to make sure every 60,000 miles or 8,000 miles or 100,000 miles we do maintenance. And this is how we take care of the life of the truck. The life of the truck is basically you can easily run for 6-7 years, and or probably more. Right? Because let's say after 1.5 million miles. Your truck started breaking down or whatever, your engine has a problem, you can spend $20,000 more. You don't have to spend $50,000 or $60,000 for the new truck, right? You can spend $50,000 to $20,000 and get the engine overhaul. What the engine overhaul does is basically it's like a brand new engine, right? And then that basically, let's say we did the engine overhaul at 300,000 miles or whatever. So from 300,000 miles, it goes all the way up to 1.5 million miles. So that's how it is. Maruti said, who is responsible for truck insurance? Is there a factor already into expenses? Yes. So when you get the 25% return, right? All that 25% return basically includes all the expenses, your trucking insurance, your basically driver's pay, fuel taxes, fuel costs, basically everything, driver's pay and everything. With all the expenses, you're gonna make about 25% return every year. Trucks do get into an accident and roll over. What happens in such situations? So it's a very good question. Yes, this is where the insurance takes place, right? When trucks get into accidents and roll over, stuff like that. Usually, it hasn't been to my truck, so I can say much about that. But in order to avoid that, what we do is first we need to make sure our driver is it's clear. So we do a background check on the driver, right? We make sure we run their MVRs. So MVRs basically we call the insurance to tell, hey, can you run his driver license and make sure that he doesn't have any tickets, he doesn't have any speeding tickets, he doesn't have any accidents, and so forth. And because we want to have someone who's basically driving this truck with a clean, background, right? We don't want any person who's basically having the truck and has a lot of tickets. And if that happens, our insurance goes up as well. But what we do is we also do a PSP on the driver. We do a drug test on the driver. We make sure the driver has been, it doesn't have any DWIs for the last 3 years, and it hasn't been to jail for the last 5 years and so forth. So we do a thorough background check for the driver to make sure that such an incident doesn't happen. 25 returns stay same over the year? No, I would not say that. 25% minimum. Yes, 25% minimum would stay every year. But there are times, I don't want to I don't want to say a big number, right? There are times where you're going to make 50%, right? There are times where you're going to make 30%. So 25% minimum is going to stay for every year. But there are times it's a variable number, right? So it's not a fixed number. I'm not going to give you 25%. If you're making more than 25%, you're going to make more than 25%. So. Can you show an income statement account for one truck for 1 year with all the expenses, includes tires and taxes, etc.? Of course, I can share. So once we're done with our meeting, I'll, if you have any, just send me an email and I can send you the basically our income statement that shows the whole truck, but how the truck is running per year, what our expenses are, and so forth. Ronnie would say, what's the probability of mechanical expenses based on your experience? Is there any issue to cover such? So we don't have, so this is where the truck comes place, right? In order to avoid the mechanical issues, what we do is when we buy the truck, right, we make sure we run the dyno test. We make sure everything, the dyno test basically does is run the engine, make sure the engine is right, make sure the, all the filters and everything is right. Transmission is good to go and everything, because $50,000, $60,000 it's not a small money, right? So we want to make sure everything is perfect, everything is good to go, and before you buy the truck, and to avoid this mechanical issues and stuff. What would be the cost if truck is not on the road for a month? So our to be honest, Ashok, I think We never had an issue like that. Because we are basically we have customers such as Amazon, UPS, FedEx, and we also have a dedicated freight. So our truck is basically running every day, every single day. There's not one day the truck has been idle. So I mean, that's going to be impossible if the truck is sitting on the road for a month. If the truck is sitting on the road for a month, that means there's something wrong with it. Uh, Nagendra say, what are the liability risks in case of accidents? So basically, in case of accidents, basically, so liability. So basically, any driver that's joined, they have their own personal insurance. We don't provide the insurance to them, so they have their own personal liability insurance, which has been covered. So we are not responsible. We are not responsible for it. And when we get the driver, they send us their medical card, their insurance, and everything. So this is what we do before we take any drivers. Uh, if you're booking the truck and driver, what is in it for you? So if okay, so good question. I was gonna talk about that in the next page, anyways. But so basically, uh, the service that we provide, right? So basically, what we do is we take about 13% based off the gross, right? So let's say the gross is about $10,000 per week or whatever. I'll just go with the small number, right? Let's say we do about $5,000 per week gross. So I would take about 13%, which is about $650, right? That basically covers every service that I mentioned above earlier. Our dispatch fee, I use the in-house and also the outside dispatch fee as well, dispatcher as well. We take about 30% cut. So that basically includes everything, right? So the 650 will include all the turnkey services, which is the dispatch fees, finding the freight for you, finding a driver for you, running, basically looking for their load, and getting all the settlements done, doing all the back offices done, and everything. So 13% is what we take. What is the scrap value of a truck? Is there any environmental cost? See, I don't know about that one. I don't know the value of the scrap value of the truck. I'm pretty sure there's. So what people usually does is, let's say you went over 900,000 or 1 million miles or 1.5 million miles, right? You already made so much money out of it. You're like, oh, I don't want to do this truck. I want to buy a new truck or something. What you can do is what people does is they put in the auction. And if you bought trucks for $50,000, you can easily sell for $20,000. So you made some return out of it. Can I buy and rent it to you with an agreement of fixed income a month? Uh, we don't have that we don't have that right now, but we can certainly talk about that in the future. So, uh, what is the common repair and average repair cost? How much does engine overhaul cost? Already talked about that earlier. So it costs about $20,000, $15,000 to $20,000. Depends on the truck, right? If it's a Freightliner, we'll talk about 15 to $20,000. Uh, Common repairs are basically a tire repair, right? A tire busted, so you have a tire repair cost. There are times when we don't have a more much repair. It's basically a maintenance, right? So we have we need to do every 6 months. We need to do PM. We need to do oil filter change and engine oil change and stuff like that. So this is basically a common repair that goes in there. Okay, so I joined a bit late. Sorry if you covered already. I don't understand that business model. I pay for the truck and rent it to who? How do I get it rented? The money revenue model is fuzzy. Can you explain the life cycle of the revenue? Okay, sure. So basically, so let's say you buy the truck, right? This is how the investment is going to work. So let's say you buy the truck, right? You buy the truck for $50,000. You rented a trailer. Let's say you're paying about $1,300 a week or whatever. But let's say you bought a truck for $50,000. Now, what we do is we charge 13%, right? 13% as our fees. What we do is basically we take your truck and put it on the road. So we find the drivers for you, right? We basically find everything for you, does do everything for you, and we find it, and we put that on the road to get you a revenue, right? So, for example, there are times when if you do a dedicated freight, so we have a team driver. I'll give you one example. So we have a team driver that goes from coast to coast, from east to west, west to east, right? In a week, we do about $10,000 per gross in a week. So a driver does about 4 rounds in a month. So that's $40,000 gross. In a month that you do. So this is how the revenue model works, right? So basically, take your truck, we put on the road, and we start making money out of it. And then cutting all the expenses. This is how we're gonna make money. 25% return. Let me know if I answered that question to you. Do you include truck depreciation, say over 6 years, into in the 25% ROR calculation? So the 25% ROR does not include depreciation, right? So as a truck, more miles you drive, the truck's going to depreciate. So, like I said, 25% is the minimum, right? I mean, there are times you're going to make 30%, 35%. So when I say in 4 years, you're going to get your money back. And then fifth year, you're going to start making 25% return, right? I mean, there are times when you're going to be paid off in 2 or 3 years. And for the fourth year, you can start making money. So, that's how the model works, basically. What are the sequences of transportation illegal goods on the who's responsible? So that's a good question, but we basically don't have. I mean, it's a good question, but there's not too many illegal goods or transportation. Basically, because what happens, we go to a shipper, right? Shipper basically, so we work with the broker. Broker gives us a rate con and tells us, hey, this is what the materials you're gonna basically haul. So we go to a shipper, they put the material in, we count the material and make sure that, okay, this is what the material is, this is how much the pound is, and we go from point A to point B. So there's no illegal goods that's going to be taking place. Are we in contract with you only, or can we rent to someone else also? If it's not on a job, then where to park? So basically, so if you want to join, so the reason why I'm finding you joining under us, it's basically we have a connection with a lot of brokers, a lot of shippers, right? We've been doing this a long time. You can definitely basically, if you know who you want to join, you can go, but I'm pretty sure you're probably not going to get 25% return. I mean, think about it. If you can think about it this way. Let's say you saw investment opportunity in apartments, right? You put $50,000. The apartment basically says, hey, you're gonna get about 50% return. In each year, right? Here, basically you're doing it's the same model, right? You're investing instead of investing in an apartment, you're investing in the trucking business. So you buy the truck, you get all that stuff, we put that on the road, we charge 13% return, 13% service fees. We basically take care of everything, so that way you don't have to go through the hassle, and you get 25% return. 20% return from the other side. This 25% return guarantee even if the truck stays idle for 1 month? Yes, that's right. If any chance the truck is idle for 1 month or something, you're still gonna get 25% return in 1 year. That's minimum 25% return you're gonna get no matter what.
I request all the members to be on mute.
25% of that or including expense. Can you try to figure it? Did you do an analysis on how many miles does the truck needs to run every year to make 25% return? We have the analysis with us, and we can always share. I'll send it to Kishore, so Kishore can. If you have any questions, or you can email me. Once I answer most of the questions here, I want to go to the next page, which has my contact information and everything. Well, how about this? Kishore, can you go to the next page? Okay. So here's my contact information, right? You can email me at jaipurlogistics@gmail.com, or you can also call me at this number, 713-584-0707. This is my cell phone number. You can call me anytime you have any questions. You can, you can email me with any questions you have. I want to make sure that basically you guys are very comfortable in this business model before you get into it. So that's my number. I'm gonna go back with the question again. 25% after the expenses or included expenses. Can we try the freight with rental trucks without investing on truck? You can. So if you rent the truck, right? First, any company that you go to, like basically Penske or Ryder or anyone, right? They want someone who's in the business for 5 years. They will never. If you're starting off with any with the business, you would not be able to basically rent a truck. You can lease on the truck, yeah. You can lease on, but it's an asset. What if I were you? What I would do is basically spend. You can finance it, right? You can buy a truck, finance it. Put a 20% down or 25% down and finance it. And then get into the market, see how the market is. You get 25%, 30% return. Buy the second one, third one. Then this is how I did it. When I first started, I started with the one truck, and the second truck I bought. I'm about to buy my third truck right now. We have owner ops, basically, or investors. They're buying more trucks under me as well. So that's how we do it. So how do you, very good question. How do you prioritize loads across investors, full load versus partial loads, right? So basically what we do is, I think the majority loads that we do is we do full loads. If we don't want to take loads which are paying dollar per mile, right? The way that we get we get paid for the to run the loads is per mile, right? The average rate per mile is $2 per mile. So if the parcel is paying 50 cents, 60 cents per mile, there's no point of taking that load, right? And this is what we do it for all the investors. When anyone who's investing it, we make sure that we are making money on that load. Because let's say it's $2 an average mile, we gotta consider the fuel cost, we gotta consider the driver cost, we gotta consider the insurance cost and everything. So this is how we do it. So we make sure that we take the full load and who pays the most amount of money. And that's why we don't usually look at the load boards. We have direct connections with the brokers. We have direct connections with the shippers. And we also have a dedicated lanes. So dedicated lanes is basically we have a fixed rate or something. Hey, $10,000. We have a team driver who's going to go from west to coast. They're going to make about $10,000 in the bad timing and $12,000, $13,000 in the good timing. So, I want to see all that's going to come out. All right, calculated. So basically, I can definitely send me an email, and I will send you the how the ROI is basically calculated for 25% return.
So is this 25% excluding the maintenance, fuel, everything?
Exactly. So 25% is basically that's your return with all the expenses taken care of, right? Your fuel costs, basically, it's like so that's your return. You don't have to pay anything. Basically, all the expenses been taken care of, and that's when you make 25% return per year.
Okay. And is there anything like again with this 25%? Is there any subject to something like tires we should pay, or something we should pay, something else we should pay? Is there anything like this?
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Say it again. Sorry.
Are there any litigations like where some things come under us, where we need to take care or where we need to invest? Like, for example, truck tires.
Okay. Truck. You said truck tires?
Yeah, it can be a tire or it can be anything. So apart from anything, whatever the expenses, excluding all the expenses, 25% is the thing, right?
Right. So 25% is a return, right? So let's say, you make, I have the whole scenario for you. So let's say you make $5,000, a gross is $5,000 per week, right? So that's $20,000 per month. Then we got to take care of the trucking driver. We got to take care of the fuel costs. We got to take care of the insurance. We got to take care of the toll, cutting all the expenses. That's the net number comes in, right? We take that and multiply by 12. That's your 25% return. So 25% return that you have is basically covering all the expenses, any maintenance costs. What we do is basically when we do the calculation, we basically take $500 and put that on reserve per month, right? So if anything occurs, like let's say you have a tire change coming up or something, or you have a fuel change coming up or something, we have this $500 per month. Let's say January or March, we have something coming up. We already have that money on site for that expenses. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, I got it. That and the second question is, for example, like you were saying, you put money for one truck. Like for example, if I put 50,000 and you will buy one truck on the 50,000, and someone XYZ puts some 50,000, you will buy one truck on the name of XYZ. In your business as a group, for example, like my truck can run only like 6 or 7 months continuously in a year of 12 months, and whereas his truck can run for completely 12 months. In that case, how you are going to do?
So so you compare with different investors? Is that how you're comparing it?
Yeah, is it like a per investor per truck, or like no, it's all together?
No. So it's per truck, right? So let's say you as an investor basically put money. Your minimum investment is one truck, right? So you basically invest one truck, and so you just focus on your truck, right? Basically, you say, okay. Then what we do is we take care of your truck. We we have so much freight in the market. We have so much. So basically, no, it's not like, oh, you're gonna make $5,000. The other your friend's gonna make $6,000 or $7,000. It all depends on where the truck is, right? I mean, each truck, or basically it's so let's say your truck is sitting in Houston, the other truck is sitting in California or something. Your rate might be a little bit different than one of your other friend, right? So, but like at the end,
order it is. What I am expecting is at the end of the day or at the end of the year, I just don't want to hear something like your truck didn't do business that well, this well, or something, and saying that I can't give you 25%, something which I don't want to hear. That is the reason I'm asking you.
Sorry, I didn't get the last part. I'm sorry.
I don't want to hear at the end of the year, like your truck didn't do that much business or whatever it is.
Right.
So
okay.
I can't give you 25% like how I promised. That I don't want. That's what I am saying.
Yeah. No. So basically, that's what I would say, right? 25% minimum return you're gonna get no matter what. There's no excuses for that. You're gonna get 25% return on your investment.
How you are going to control the fuel?
So we have connections with the fuel card companies, where what we do is we provide drivers with the fuel card, and if they go to certain truck stops, basically what they do is they get a discount. Like TAs, they get 20%, 20 cents. Fuel, they get some.
I know. I'm into that. I have been. Are you with EFS or Concord?
EFS.
Okay. And how you are tracking the fuel?
How am I tracking the fuel?
Yeah.
So basically, so let's say so every week we track the fuel, right? So let's say we have.
I just want how you guys are tracking the fuel without knowing to the driver.
How do I track the fuel, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, this is how I track the fuel, right? So when we have by tracking the fuel is basically we have a fuel card, right? So we have the system. We have a TCS app, right? So basically, so let's say I give you a card. So let's say you're a driver, right? I give you a card, card number A, right? I have an app where I can go in and track the fuel. Like, hey, this is how much this is how much the money they put in. And each fuel card has a limit, right? So we put a limit on the fuel card. They can only spend about $500 per day, right?
Yes.
So, and this is how I track my fuel. So let's say the person is had to drive 1,000 miles. What we do is we take 1,000 miles divided by our average per truck is $6 per mile, right? So we need about 166 gallons. So 166 gallons times, let's say average.
Because why I'm asking this question is I had such a bad experience. Actually, I was when I had been into this, I was completely fresh, whatever it is. The thing is, these drivers, they go to the truck stop, they make the, what is it, EFS, even they run for 400 or 500,
Okay.
and they just dump the 200 rupees fuel card, and for 300 they just take the cash, or with again there is a discount or something in the truck shops. Like for 300 they will give you 200, like that.
Yeah, so basically, that's a very good question. So
this is a basic, it's a minimal level actually, but I should not speak all this. But the thing is, and the thing where I face the problem is that one.
Right. So I think so.
You never know if that is the case.
Right. But I mean, so basically, I mean, like there's a tracker, right? We can put a tracker and stuff. But so when we track it, right? The way we track it is how many miles the load is, right? How many fuel so we do the whole math calculation. Like, okay, so if they go 1,000 miles per day or something, 1,000 miles, right? If we do 1,000 miles, our average per fuel is $6 a mile. So we take that divided by 6. We need 166 gallons. If the average is about $3 a mile, so we need I think they're gonna fill about $500 worth of it, right? And they have a fuel card. So fuel cards basically doesn't apply towards the cash, right? So I don't give them an EFS check. I never give them an EFS check. And if they cannot run the EFS check, right? The EFS check needs a money code, and they don't have access to the money code where they can basically run that EFS check. So only the owner has the company like us has the money code number that we can provide them.
Okay, if you have the tracking about that fuel cards, if that will be good. That's fine.
Right.
And moreover, the other part.
Hey, Puro, this is Alesh. I have a question. You said that you have this $500 every month you keep aside.
Right.
So if you don't use that money during the year for repairs or whatever, what happens to that money?
Yeah, so basically that basically goes to you, right? If you don't use that money, that basically goes to you because that's your money, right? The $500 expense we keep on the side as a reserve. If you don't use it, we just basically give it to you, and next year we start the same process again. When we do when we do the expenses, right? We just take off $500. So
another question. Now you said the 25% is guaranteed, kind of, right? I mean, you didn't say guaranteed, but you said you'll always get 25%.
It's So I would say guaranteed. Yeah. No, I would definitely say guaranteed. 25% return is guaranteed for you. I mean that's
now. I mean, so you basically you like every month you do the final balances accounting. This much was earned and this much was the expenses, and this one this much is for us. For you, and you basically calculate profit that way. And if that profit turns out to be more than 25%, you will give it to the investors. Otherwise,
exactly.
25%, right? Okay.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So that's why. So what I do is basically I give. You get the return every quarter, right? But every year, every month, what I do, I run the whole financials with you. Basically, I send you an income statement, the whole income statement, how much we did gross with all the attachment documents, right? So this is all your loads that we did. This is how much. So basically, what we do is we take 13% cut, but we do all the paperwork for you. And we'll prepare the income statement and we'll send that to you every month. So that way you know where you're standing in. There are times you're gonna make 25% in 3 quarters in a quarter. It all depends on what the market is. I say 25% return guarantee because I know that you're gonna make 25% return for sure, and I'll guarantee you that you're gonna make 25% minimum return.
Purav, is there
Hey,
some
I just
contract
want to
or-
ask you, like, how many years of experience you have in the transport logistics?
So in the transport logistics, so basically, my background is finance, right? So I work in the oil and gas company before. In that company, I used to do. It was in the transportation side of it as well, oil and gas. So in the trucking industry, I have about 1 year experience, right? But before that, I have more than about 10 years, 11 years of experience in oil and gas, which deals with the transportation business. So
Yeah, when you told about you got Volvo something, then only I got that out.
I'm sorry.
When you told that you took some Volvo and you faced some problems, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when I bought the Volvo truck, right?
Yeah. Then only I came to know, like, you okay? Oh, you guys are freshers on the motor. This is okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. Are you dealing with flats?
I'm doing what, sir?
Are you dealing with flats?
Oh, what do you mean by flats? I'm sorry.
In the trucks?
Like,
Hey, Purav, Nirav here. So I have a quick question.
yes.
So the question was, you helped set up the LLC as well, right?
Right.
So the question was, the 25% is after taxes or before taxes? I mean, I'm sure LLC
Yeah.
has a. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. So it's before taxes. 25%
Okay.
is before your taxes. Yeah. So
And
that's
then-
your rate of return with your investment. Then you pay your taxes on it.
So then LLC has like 21% tax, right? Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, just making sure that I understand the calculations. Thank you.
No problem.
And Purav, will there be an agreement between the investors and you? Like, for example, after first quarter, they see that they got only 20% or 15% something, right? So
Right.
will they have an opportunity to move to a different logistics company, or is there some agreement like 6 months, 1 year, something?
Yeah. So we have an agreement. We have a lease agreement form, which basically has the whole terms and like everything, like how long the company has to stay with us and so forth. So yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
And if, like, for example, 40 or 50 of our members want to invest, or they want to buy 50 trucks, just for an example.
Sure.
So do you still expect that there is a huge demand even if we have 50 trucks or 100 trucks? You are saying
Yeah. So I mean,
there's a-
no, definitely. So Kishore, I think there's if you look at the company called JB Hunt, CH Robinson and so forth, right? Those companies has over 400, 500 trucks, 1,000 trucks, and they're basically not sitting idle. I mean, the trucking industry is it's basically what you call, like, it never dies. Like, everyone needs to move freights, right? I mean, so even if you have 50 loads, we have connections with the UPS, FedEx, Amazon, which basically does tons and tons of loads, throughout the day, throughout the year. So 50 trucks or 100 trucks or 200 trucks, it's not going to be a problem at all. So.
Hey, Purav, this is question. The 13% you charge, is that included in the 25% return, or that is after the 25% return?
No, so that includes includes on for the 25% return. So 25% return is basically your net number you're gonna take home, right? So if you spend $50,000, you're gonna take home $12,500 money, and then you pay your taxes and all that stuff. So.
Okay, so if it is if you, for example, for 50,000, you will get 12,500 per year, right?
Right, exactly. Yep.
So and in the 12,500, how much we need to pay tax?
20%, right? It's 21% for LLC.
About 21%, right? So basically,
So-
12,100 times 21%. So you pay about $2,600.
Hey, Purav.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey,
Yes, sir.
I have a question. Like like everybody's projecting like some sort of a recession or like a downturn, and I believe the freight business is tightly coupled to the economy and all of this. So have you done anything like a stress testing? Like where do you break even? What is that? I mean, what happens if certain things happen and all of that, or are you only projecting the rosy picture?
So basically, yeah. So we have a break-even point, right? So let's say we do $2 a mile. So we are the whole truck industry is basically based on the miles, right? Miles per dollar per mile. So we have a projection basically. If we do $1 or like 80 cents to $1 per mile, that's your break-even point, right? It all depends, what the fuel cost is. So I mean, there's a lot of variable costs including it. But you can easily make 70 to 80 cents profit per mile.
Okay.
Hey, Purav, as an owner, do I get to choose where my trucks go? I mean, which route they go?
No. So basically, you don't have to do anything. You're like a silence partner, right? So you don't have to. So that's the reason why we charge 13%, because we don't want to get you a headache. We don't want to get you so many phone calls from our brokers. We don't want to get you because brokers.
Understand.
Yeah.
So follow up on this one. So let's say, I mean, we know the weather is unpredictable, right? So let's say a truck is stuck in a location where it cannot move for whatsoever reason, right?
Okay.
So what happens in that case? I mean, it's just the partner who bears the cost in that case. I mean, the rate of return drops, or do you all do a calculation across the trucks that you fly in that route?
No, so basically the truck, the calculation is only based on your trucks, right? So the 25, so we don't, exactly.
So, I mean, as your company being the operator for the truck, I mean, what's your responsibility to ensure, well, if there's a bad weather or something happening, we take proper caution that the trucks are not stuck over there?
Right, sure. That's a very good question. So basically, this is where our dispatcher takes place. What we do is every morning, wherever we send out the load, we check the weather, right, to make sure the weather is good to go. I'll give you a good example right now. One of my truck was going to Pennsylvania. There was a big there was a snow coming in over there, and we checked the weather before we sending in, before we book the load. Our dispatcher check the weather and say, hey, we cannot send you over there. We got to find you somewhere else. So this is what we do. In order to take a precaution, we always check the weather to make sure your truck is in a good place.
Okay. And last question from my side. So we talked about insurance. You said the insurance is going to be our cost, right, as a owner of the truck.
Right, exactly.
My question is, like, what we know, right? I mean, these are commercial vehicles, and at the end of the day, insurance can be very different. We see these hoardings all over the place. I mean, if you are hit by a truck, call me. And obviously, I think there's a lot risk involved when it comes to insurance. So as an owner of the truck, who gets impacted? I mean, does the owner get impacted, or you guys as the operator get impacted if the insurance goes up? So I mean, my question is more towards, do you buy a bulk insurance for all the trucks you operate, or is it like individualized insurance?
It's an individualized insurance, and then so basically it all depends on your truck, right? So what kind of truck is it, and what year is it, and all stuff like that. But to answer your question, it affects our company, right? So basically, insurance, you pay the insurance, but insurance is basically under our authority, right? So we are responsible. Anything happens, our CSS score goes down, and we are responsible. The insurance, basically, we are covered for it. So.
Okay, so let me ask this: if someone sues a truck for accident, right? If we get sued, right, who gets sued? I mean, you get sued, or me, or as a owner, I get sued, or both of us get sued?
So we get sued, right? So basically, it's under our authority. So the company is who's under someone's authority. So we have the MC number, we have the authority, right? So anything happens, basically, that it's been sued to us.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought it would.
One
Okay. Thank
question
you.
on the returns. So the returns, whatever the number that you're projecting is not guaranteed, but you're pretty much confident about it. But
Right.
is that
Yep.
return like a preferred return, or is it like as an I think the preferred, right? Investors first get a percentage, only then you started charging the 13%, or is it like you start charging 30% from the dollar, from the first dollar that you earn?
Yeah. So this is what we do, right? So basically, let's say we find you a load that goes that makes $5,000 per week, right? So what we do is we take 13% of the gross, right, and then we subtract all the expenses from the gross, right? So my 13% is part of the expenses. So whatever your gross is minus my expenses, minus my fees, minus fuel costs, minus so forth and everything, whatever the net income is, that's your money. And
So it's actually other way around. So it's preferred for you, not for the investor. So you're getting the first piece of the share.
right, exactly, yeah.
So in apartments and all, it's the opposite. Where the investors get first the profit, and only then whatever the LLC or anybody investing gets it. But this is a little bit
So basically, also invested in one of the investment like apartment, right? So what they do is they charge you a management fee, right? So if you look at the income statement, you will see they charge the management. So basically, this 13% is exactly like a management fee, right?
Yeah, but the management fees is like 1% and 2%, and the 13% is basically the amount that you're intending to make. And but you know what? That's not my point. I just wanted to know,
Right.
where is a preferred? Do you have anything like a preferred? Your model is your model. You cannot compare one with the other.
Right, exactly.
Okay. And
So
regarding the fuel,
do we need to take the insurance for our truck?
Sorry, say it again.
Do we need to take the insurance from our side for the truck which we put the investment?
No. So basically, what we do is, so it's under our authority. So our insurance basically. So what we do is we call our insurance company, and once we have the driver and everything, we run through it. So you don't have to go through your insurance. We go through our insurance.
We are nowhere related to any insurance subjects, right?
Right. Exactly. Yep.
So do you have some sort of track record of this returns and all that, Purav, that you can share?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, send me an email address, and I will definitely share you the whole like the way I came up with the 25% and so forth.
Okay, and the fuel cost is kind of fluctuating, right? Do you hedge it, or how do you like account for it? Like today it may be like $2, and sometime it may be like $5, whatever it is. So
yeah, Sure. So good question. So what we do is basically we do an average, right? So from this this many years, right? I mean, what we did was our fuel cost is basically roughly about 28% of the gross, right? So this is how we calculate, and it's always been like that. So every 3,000 miles you run, you spend about $1,000 on the fuel. So that's how we calculate it. So about 28 to 30.
Can you please give your email ID once again?
Sure. So his email address is Jaypur, Jay. Yeah, Jay, P for Peter, UR. Logistics, LOGISTICS at gmail.com.
Okay. Your mobile number?
My mobile number is 713-584-0707.
And how much insurance do you account for, Purav? Like like $1 million or $2 million, or what is it? What is the insurance that you're going to carry on each vehicle?
Sure. Yeah. So basically, this $1 million liability insurance is required for all the vehicle, for all the tractor. I mean, it's a motor vehicle number, right? So we have to carry $1 million liability insurance and $100,000 cargo insurance.
Okay. So if it is more than 1 million, like let's say like 2 or 3 million of somebody suing right? What happens in that case? 1 million is pretty small for a commercial vehicle. I don't know. You tell me.
No, I think so. I know you're looking at the long picture right now, but
No. I'm just asking a question. Easily you can sue. Let's say somebody's like driving. Under the influence, right? He kills like a couple of people.
Right.
1 million is like it's like peanuts. Whatever the lawsuit you're going to incur.
Right. So basically, for all the accidents, right? For all the personal incidents, basically we don't take care of that, right? It's been taken care of the driver. But for the liability insurance, right? For anything that happens from our truck to whatever, $1 million is basically part of it. So I don't think any insurance insurance provider provides more than $1 million.
So I mean, I kind of missed the point where the driver carries the insurance for the liability,
So driver carries the insurance for their, right? So anything happens. So let's say they got into an accident, right? And driver got hurt. We are, as an owner, we are not responsible for his.
It's the other way around. Let's say he kills 10 people. He hit a car or something, and all of them die.
Right.
So
right.
You can expect at least like more than like $1 million, maybe like $5 million of lawsuit from that family.
Sure.
Who pays for that? Which insurance covers it?
So so basically our insurance, right? Progressive or any other insurance will cover.
You have only a limit of $1 million.
Right. So I mean only I can get back with you on that answer, man, because I have no idea how that thing works. But I'll definitely find out from my insurance and see in that situation.
$1 million in your car and all. It's pretty small for a commercial vehicle, and you're only carrying 1 million. I'm not asking about the cost of the insurance. I'm worried about the the amount of insurance. Like 1 million, I feel personally is way too small for a commercial vehicle.
Right. I mean, that's the requirement. They don't provide more than $1 million. But I can definitely ask. If you can send me an email, so that way, I will have your question, and once I have the answer, I'll reply back to you on it.
Okay. And so in the LLC, are you going to maintain like two LLCs, like one a manager and one like like a partner LLCs, or both the investor and you are going to be part of the same LLC?
No. So basically, you will have your own LLC, right? So if you have your own LLC, we will basically provide you a 1099, right? Okay. So yeah. So
but the truck will be under. You said the truck will be under your name.
The truck, yeah. So basically, the truck will be under your name, right? But it will be basically assigned to us, right? So it will be leased on to us. So our name will be there. So when you drive the truck, it will basically will have our name on it. So
yeah, but if you're saying that we are going to be the owner on that, so anything the truck does, like from the liabilities point of view, we are going to be part of the litigation. There's no way that we can escape that. If our name is on that.
So you're the owner of the truck, right? You're not. So you don't have insurance. The insurance is basically under me, right? So what we do is basically you as an LLC, right? Basically join us, right? So we sign a lease agreement form, right? And then when you bought the truck. Now what happened is basically, let's say we run you. So we basically put your truck under my insurance, right? So anything happens that basically affects me.
Is there any written document like we are not at all responsible for any of the things?
As far as I know, that won't be working that way. There are many ways you can be sued as long as you are the owner. But I mean, that is my knowledge. So correct me if I'm wrong.
I think the way I understand this is more like, well, you buy a car and the bank holds the title. So in this case, we will be holding the title and he will be the operator. So the operational right of the vehicle will sit with his company. I mean, that's how I see it. But at the same time, I do not discount the question that you have asked. That is very, very important to find out if we can get sued being a silent partner in this whole operation.
I know personally many cases where just the landlord got sued, even though he was leasing it to a restaurant, and somebody hit somebody in that restaurant. Even the owner got
Understand.
sued.
Hey, Purab, this is Prasad. I'm
Yeah,
not
Prasad.
sure who was asking that question, but I was researching this logistics deal with another friend of mine who had been doing it for almost 18 years.
Sure.
And the way I understand is we have to form an LLC. Let's say my name is Prasad, right? I would do Prasad LLC and I buy the truck. So other gentleman whoever was talking about, I didn't get his name, but he is absolutely right. We will be held accountable for it. You're just a logistics company, It's going to come back on us. And forget about the insurance crap, but
Exactly.
if you have a human loss due to mechanical failure and we own the truck, I mean, our butt is on the sling there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have ever explored that or if you have ran into that situation, but the other gentleman is absolutely right.
Hey, Prasad,
Human loss
Sri?
due to mechanical failure would be a problem.
Sure. I mean, so that's a good question. I never thought about it, but I can definitely basically think, talk to my insurance company and talk to my lawyer, right, and see, how this process is going to work, right? So,
Yeah, it's not just about a question. This is something everybody needs to be careful. To the best of my understanding, every time you drive on I-45 or I-10, you see all these 18-wheeler accidents and all these lawyers, that fellow Hammer or some guy. It's a big issue. That's something you have to let everybody know. It's not about the money you would be making.
Exactly.
You have an LLC there.
By the way,
LLC
okay, let's do one thing.
Certain level,
Sorry,
what are you going to do?
I think multiple people are talking at the same time. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What if you get registered the truck itself on your name and we have just an agreement like we put cash and you'll be returning this much? How is that?
Sorry, say it again.
We just give your money to you and you are going to buy the truck, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But you are saying we will be the owner for the truck. We don't want to be the owners for the truck. You be the owner for the truck.
Yeah, we can do that too. I mean, that's possible, right?
You be the owner for the truck, and let us have an agreement like we have given like so much investment with you, and you will be returning this much amount for us, like quarterly or half yearly or yearly, whatever it is.
Sure. Yeah, we can work on the lease agreement form like that. So basically, you just give you give me a cash, right? Give me a cash or check or whatever, and I'll buy a truck under my name, and we'll go from there. And we just you as an investor, I'll pay you 25% return.
And also
this is like Sri here. So I got a solution for that. We kind of operate different in the different business industry, but it is similar. So where you can actually mitigate the investors' risk. But I'll reach out to you offline. There's a way to do it. You cannot just do everything on like you said, right? That is very risky. I'll have a discussion with you offline. This is Sri. I'll call you probably tomorrow.
Okay, sure. Sounds good. Thanks. Any other questions, guys?
How much Amazon pays for truckload, like per mile?
Sorry, man, I cannot disclose that right now.
Like, what's the average per mile vendors pay for per mile?
I mean, it varies, right? I mean, it varies differently. I mean, there are times they pay $4 a mile. There are times that they pay $3 a mile. It all depends on what kind of loader you're taking it.
Does it depend on distance?
It all depends on distance. Yes, sir. Yep, distance. The shorter distance he has, the more pay they pay. The longer distance he has, the less amount they pay.
So since you're in this business from the past year, I hope you already calculated this. What's the operating cost per mile?
So the operating basically like a break-even, right? What the break-even point is?
No, I'm just asking for the operating cost for truck to move 1 mile, like including gas and everything. Like it includes like the wear and tear of the tires and the body of the truck and everything, including depreciation. That should be calculated as an operating cost per mile, right?
Right. So basically the operating cost, so let's say it's $2, right? I mean, the operating cost basically roughly from 80 cents to $1 a mile. And that basically the reason why I'm saying from 80 cents to $1, it all depends on what kind of insurance you have, right? And what kind of fuel costs he has, what kind of fuel expenses you have, and so forth.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. Thank you. And I'd like to see your past year financials, including these operating cost details.
Yeah, sure. So send me an email.
Yes, sir.
And I'll reply back to you on that one.
Uh-huh.
You have my email address, right, sir?
Yes, sir. I got it noted down.
Okay, sounds good.
Purab, I think Kishore has email address of everyone who signed up for this session. Might be better to send one email to everyone rather than asking people to reach out directly. I mean, in that case, everyone is on the same page.
Sure. Yeah, I think. If you have, because the reason why I was saying this, because everyone has a different question, right? So I haven't write down the question yet. I mean,
well, see, I mean, at the end of the day, for me, the reason of attending these sessions is one, obviously you have to make investment, make your money grow, and two, I mean, invest within the community, help someone rise, and at the same time you also make some money.
Of course.
I think from one's question, I mean, other can learn. Like there was a gentleman who asked the question around the insurance liability, so that provided more clarity. So I mean, it just helps. So better to just send it across, and I think from the email trail, for some it may generate traffic, for others it may generate knowledge.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. I mean, so that's the reason why I told Kishore, right? Hey, man, I want to present this presentation to our Indian community, our Desi community, because a lot of people doesn't have knowledge about logistics company, or does not even knowledge, but not too many people I had invested in trucking business, and as an owner of a trucking company, I know how the potential is, and that's the reason why I wanted to present it. Not for my sake. But I want to help community out as well to make more money and grow within the company. So,
hey, quick question. One last. There was a question in the room asked about driverless truck. Do you have any feedback on that question?
No, sorry, I didn't get a chance. There was so many texts that came in, so basically then I started answering all that question. So, sorry. So you're talking about the autonomous truck, right? Like,
yes.
Okay, sure. So, I think, they're coming out with the autonomous truck. I mean, that's going to be a while, to be honest. And the truck right now, it's basically, Uber is coming out with the electric truck. Nikola is one of the other truck. I mean, in fact, I signed up for Nikola. It's an electric truck. It's coming up in 2020. And it's a great truck. It gives a great electric. I mean, you're going to save a lot of miles in diesel and stuff, right? A lot of diesel money. So, but giving your answer for the autonomous truck, I mean, it's going to take a while, man. It's going to be when it comes out, I mean, it's going to be a lot of errors and stuff like that. So, I don't think it's happening in the next 15, 20 years, to be honest.
Okay. Pura, quick question. I would like to know if you have looked into the Uber for freight. Like there are several companies who does all this like in freight business. Just like how we use Uber and Lyft. There is a Uber concept in the trucking industry too. Yeah. So do you see any I mean, there are several companies that's kind of exploring that area. Do you see? Don't you see a competition with that, and how even with that competition, how are you assuring the 25%? I'm not getting that part.
No, very good question, man. So so we as a carrier, right? So we sign up with all these companies like Uber Freight, C.H. Robinson, and many other companies, right? So when we signed up for it, we saw the rates that Uber was providing. Uber had really bad rates. Their rates per mile was like $1.20, $1.30, $1.40, where everyone else is basically paying $2 a mile or $2.25 a mile or $1.80. So Uber is basically tapping that market, the trucking market, but they're not in that market yet. I would not say, because they don't have that much connection with a lot of shippers, which other company has, like C.H. Robinson, J.B. Hunt, and so forth. So And to be honest, man, there's so many brokers, there's so many companies out there. If you just type in logistics company or something, right, you're gonna see thousands of companies out there who are making tons of money, in the trucking industry.
No, I got your point, but what I'm confused is, like, in case, for example, like Uber, like I can open an app and actually see if anybody wants to use my truck. So,
sure.
And they actually charge like, some like X amount of money, and I would think that would be kind of like 13% or less, or have you seen that kind of price to be different? So why would a person need to will be actually kind of choosing Jaipur versus Uber is what I'm trying to understand.
Okay, so let me tell you. So Uber freight, right? The freight industry, truck industry doesn't work the same way how the driving industry works, right? So Uber freight, this is how the Uber freight works. Exactly works the same way how my company or any other logistic company works. So Uber freight is basically a broker, right? They're a broker. So what they do is they have connections with the shipper, similar with a lot of other companies, right? Similar with other, let's say C.H. Robinson, so forth, whatever company I told you. So I know what you're trying to, because let's say you have your own load board and stuff like that. So Uber Freight is completely different, and it works exactly the same way how the other broker works for. And they're just a broker, and which has a very less rate compared to all the other brokers. So.
I have a quick question. There's a shortage of truck drivers in this industry, and it's all over the news that recently 30,000 Indian Sikh people joined as truck drivers in this industry. And how much are you going to, how much do you pay for drivers, and how fast can you get a driver since they are on contract and they are not on full time on your payroll?
Sure. Okay. So basically, this is when our truck driver, our recruiter takes place, right? So we have a really good recruiter, basically finds a driver as fast as possible. And there's so many. So we have connections. I mean, not connections. I will not say connections, but our recruiter has a lot of connections with in Facebook and all the social media, right? So I'll give you one example. My Volvo truck, right? We hired one driver. In a week, he had a family emergency. He has to quit, and my truck was sitting in Houston. And I'm sorry, I take that back. My truck was sitting in New Mexico, and I was like, I told my recruiter, boss, I need a driver. That driver that you got me, he basically had a family emergency. He has to leave. It's like, okay, let me do this. Let me find a real driver. He found me a driver next day. The driver basically went to New Mexico and got the load, started driving for me. So there's a shortage of drivers, but there's a lot of work for the drivers as well. And it all depends on the pay, right? When you mentioned about the pay. So what we do is, there are drivers who basically has 1 year of experience, 2 years of experience, 4 years of experience. So it all depends, right? The person who has less than 5 years of experience, we pay cents per mile. There are people who has 10 to 15%, 15 years of experience, we pay percentage per mile. And that's how we keep the drivers for longer term.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's already 1 hour 40 minutes. We planned for 1 hour.
Okay.
Yeah, I know there were a lot of questions because especially this domain is new for all the investors, all our group members.
No, I think that we had a great question, and I'm sorry, Andy, some of the question I couldn't answer, but I'll certainly come back. I think that the main question was, everyone has that question, right? Liability question. Who is basically responsible for if anything happens on a truck or something? Who's going to get sued or something, right? And I'm sorry for not giving that a good response on that, because I've never got on that road yet. So, but I'll certainly basically get back with that answer and get back with you on it as soon as possible for that. Sorry, I can't hear you. Hello?
Purav, is it better?
Yes, it's better now. Yes.
Yeah. So I'll consolidate all the questions, so you can answer all the all these questions, and also you
Sure.
can include that statement which everyone wants to see, like how you calculated the 25% rate of return.
You got it. Yep.
Yeah, and then I can reply all to all the 180 plus members who shown interest, so I can send the recording and all the answers to them.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good, Kishore. And thanks a lot, everyone, for joining the group. And like waiting for the questions. And as soon as I get the questions, I'll try my best to reply as soon as possible for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Oh man.